Hello, everyone. Andy Jacob here with the DotCom Magazine Entrepreneur Spotlight Series. Wow, what a show today. This is a show you definitely want to check out because I've been waiting for this show for a number of weeks. You know, everybody that watches the DotCom Magazine Entrepreneur Spotlight Series throughout the world, you know from my interviews that I love to eat. I mean, I love the food industry. I love what's going on in food. I'm so interested in the space. We have a number of leading experts in the food industry that have come on the show, but I've been able to book a remarkable team. Subriana Pierce and Alan Pierce are the managing partners, the co-managing partners of Navigator Sales and Marketing. And when it comes to the food space, when it comes to representing companies in the food space, Subriana and Alan are really top-notch. I wanted to welcome you both to the DotCom Magazine Entrepreneur Spotlight Series today. Thank you so much for coming on the show. First, Subriana, thank you so much.
Thank you. We're glad to be here today.
Now, Alan, thank you for coming on the show as well. I mean, you're the visionary. You're thinking forward about what the company needs to do to stay sort of innovative with the offering. But before we get to you, Subriana, let's pull the lens back to start the show, of course, to 30,000 feet, and tell us what you're all about at Navigator Sales and Marketing.
Well, you know, it's all in the name. This industry, I've been in this industry for over 25 years, both from a grocery retailer side to the manufacturer side. One thing I realized is it's a tough industry to navigate. And that's literally how we came up with this name of Navigator. We represent brands and we help them land on shelves of grocery stores. So we have about 30 brands right now in the portfolio. We have them in about 15,000 or so stores across the country. But that's what we do. We help entrepreneurs navigate.
I love it. And it's all in the name. And of course, you're a food and beverage broker that really represents specialty, ethnic, organic, niche, and emerging brands. And you really move their very unique grocery health and beauty products into the stores, onto the shelves. I mean, you've got so many years of experience. It's really, really awesome what you do. And you've got so many brands. Now, Alan, when you think about Navigator Sales and a company reaching out to your company, what's sort of the first big question that they have about how you can help them get on the shelves of the stores?
Consider the grocery store industry a game, like any other game. And these entrepreneurs don't know the rules of the game. They don't know how to play, who even to talk to, what it takes, how much money it takes, marketing, anything. So we spend most of our time with them explaining how it works, and then explaining how we're going to go forward, how they're not going to make all the money they thought they were going to make in the first 2 years, and explaining that it is more of a marathon with a whole bunch of sprints in between that you're going to have to do to be successful. So that's the best way of explaining exactly what we kind of do.
I love it. And it's such a complex business, but you and Subriana have been able to make it so simple for your clients, of course, and give them straight talk about what they should expect, the way in which it's going to look, the way in which, you know, you're going to proceed by representing them and doing the best job that you possibly can. I mean, I love that straight talk so much, because in many industries, they don't get the straight talk. And with other companies in your field, they don't get the straight talk. They get all this pie in the sky kind of, you know, esoteric sort of discussions. But Subriana, with your company, with you and Alan, I mean, you're going to tell them exactly what happens based on you and your team's over 50 years of combined experience. I mean, it's remarkable. So Subriana, when you bring somebody on, what's sort of some of the questions that you're asking these companies so that you know, like, whether you can help them and where you're going to be able to put them on the shelves?
Well, money. It starts with what's your budget? You know, a lot of times a brand might come to us and say, I've got the best tasting barbecue sauce in the world.
Yeah.
And I don't doubt that. But
and right now, that's batting 1,000. Everybody comes and they've got the best product.
mm-hmm. So what's the marketing behind it? What's this? What kind of funds do you have built in? So that's one question we ask every brand. The other thing for us is this is a people business. I mean, we sell products, but it's a people business. And so I always want to know the story. What's the why behind you starting this brand? What was your mission? What was your purpose? What was that heritage? What was passed on to you that gave you this idea? Because buyers love that. They love to hear that story.
Yeah, I love it. And of course, Alan, you hit it right on the head as Subriana was talking. There's a lot of people watching the show that aren't in the food industry, right? So they know that there's people that have the greatest barbecue sauce, and then there's the next person that has the greatest energy bar in the world, and there's the next person that has the greatest organic, nutritional product in the world. Everybody's got the best tasting, the best of this, the best of that. But when it comes to getting those products on the shelves, let's talk about it, because a lot of people watching the show, we're not in the food industry. When you talk about the money, Subriana, what exactly are we talking about? Do they have to pay to get on those shelves? How does that work?
You do. There's, in many cases, there are things you'll hear about called slotting fees or placement fees, which might be equivalent to one case free per every store you go into. Or it could be, hey, I want, $15,000 an item for all of my grocery stores. I might have 3. So let's say you go into some grocery stores, 300 stores. They might just want a flat fee, $10,000, $15,000. You have to know that. You also want to build in promotional monies. That's a temporary price reduction, a TPR is reflected on the shelf. People shop by those sell tags. So you have to have that as frequently as possible. Marketing, the social media marketing, what's going to drive people to come into that store and pick up the product. So it's a strong marketing budget you have to have.
On top of that, you have two customers. You have John Q. Public as a customer. You got the buyers as a customer. You got to know both those customers. The buyer might be looking, okay, you have the greatest barbecue sauce in the world, but the buyer might be looking for a certain price point that fits in his category. Do you fit that? Are you going to, like Subriana was saying, are you going to entice John Q. Public to buy your product in my category with online marketing or whatever? You got to have that. And then finally, are you in a financial situation where you can discount your product a certain amount of times a year to get tries of your product? And oh, by the way, I need you to be at least halfway as far as your sales. I need you to be halfway in the category, else I can't keep you on the shelf. Mm-hmm. All right. That's the game everybody doesn't know when they come to us.
Well, I love it. So you really are the game masters. I mean, you really provide the insight necessary for clients to really help them navigate the retail landscape. And I would imagine these conversations you have with some startup founders that are in the food space, they might be a little startling for them. They might just think, hey, I've got a great product. Like, in your example, they've got a barbecue sauce that they made in their kitchen and their family likes it, but then they've got to market it. They've got to brand it. They have to get it on the shelves. They need someone to walk them through every step of the way. And like Subriana mentioned, it's also about the relationships that you have with the establishments, and the relationships are very important. Is that what I'm hearing?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you can't just, and it happens, but you can't just pick up the phone, call a buyer, get an appointment and come in and show your product. So we leverage our relationships. We look at brands that fall within the categories that we have and we do well in, because it's a simple phone call for us, right? So, because we're meeting with that buyer anyway. So that's really the beauty of having that broker, is somebody that just cuts through the red tape to get you to that buyer.
Yeah. So those relationships have been put together over many, many years. So Subriana, when you and Alan go to one of these buyers with a product, they know that it's been vetted and that they should take your call and listen to what you have to say. And that's one of the great things about working with Navigator Sales and Marketing for your clients is they know that sort of, when you and Alan pick up the phone, people are going to listen. There was an old TV commercial that when somebody speaks, somebody's going to listen. And in your case, they listen to you. Now, Alan, when we think about it, when we think about sort of the sweet spot for Navigator Sales and Marketing and what the specialty is and the special sauce, if you will, what is it? Is it nutritional products? Is it food? What's the thing where, you really have that sweet spot in your business for your clients?
That's a very good question because it's hard for me to answer. I'm just thank you for that one. Innovation is where we niche the product. Where we launch Navigator, we want to bring you innovation and think about a grocery store. The big CPGs have 80 to 90% of the space. So there are not a lot of brokers that bring innovation. They're going to bring you Coke, they're going to bring you Pepsi, they're going to bring you Kraft. And whatever is in their assigned group of products, that's what you're going to get. And you're going to be happy about it. Well, that's great. But because of the new generation of buyers in grocery stores, which are the millennials and the Gen Zers, they want healthy. Okay. They want non-GMO. They want innovation. They want a product that respects the environment. And it's hard to get that big ship to turn like a Coke or a Pepsi or whatever to do that when they're all set up to do what they've been doing for the last 100 years. So that's where Navigator saw the niche initially. I guess that's the best way to answer that.
Yeah, I love it. It makes all the sense in the world. That's a great answer. And of course, you have so many sort of people reaching out to you at Navigator Sales and Marketing. But Subriana, are there places you go to sort of find the new hot thing? Are there shows or trade shows, or where do you sort of scout out what's going on out there and say to yourselves, hey, Alan and I and our team, we might want to represent this product because we like what we're seeing?
We haven't done as much of that lately, but a lot of it is social media. I like to follow brands and see what owners are doing in social media. I say if there was anything that we targeted probably within the last year, through the civil unrest we experience in this country, we put a bigger focus on, let's look at some Black-owned brands, brown-owned brands, women-owned brands. And then we started to scout them out, and they were easy to find because at the same time, retailers were looking for them too. So those are ones that we went out, we looked at social media, we looked at what they were doing in their communities and reached out and said, hey, we would love to represent you. So,
and come to find out, there's innovation in those brands because those recipes aren't reflected on the shelf. You never tasted that food on shelf. And because they are different groups, their recipes are different, they're good, you might want to taste them. And that's what we're finding out now.
I love it. That makes all the sense in the world, Alan and Subriana. Of course, recently I interviewed someone on the show and they have a wonderful product that's on the shelves at Whole Foods and a lot of other places in North America. And they've got a great social mission. For example, they have they had a program going that if somebody puts something on, social with a hashtag, that they would donate 2 trees to the national forest. So everybody's sort of doing these sort of social important things. Do you find that in your business to be something that resonates as well?
Yeah, absolutely. I think to Alan's point earlier, millennials, probably more so than anything, is what changed us. We kind of grew up using the same detergents or eating the same foods that our parents did, but our kids are different. Mm-hmm. They're looking at that socially conscious. They're not as brand loyal. And that's what makes us a niche, right? Because the retailers are trying to figure it out too. How do they attract millennials? How do they get them off of, shopping online and maybe coming back into a grocery store, right? So when we bring a brand that is mission aligned, this is what a millennial and a Gen Zer is looking for, then it actually helps our sales story with the retailers.
And this is an old thing. Millennials walk into a grocery store, they look at the back of your product. I'm a baby boomer. We always look for that brand recognition. We look at the front of the product. Millennials don't care about that. What's in it? That's what they care about.
And I'd say one step further, the Gen Zers don't even look at the back. They go straight to their phones. Let's see what actually is being said about this brand, if they're really walking the walk, that they're talking. And so it's really interesting to see that generational change in how people are shopping.
Wow, what a great process you both just laid out, Subriana and Alan. I mean, that really could be like a mini Harvard MBA event right there that you two spoke about. I mean, I could see you writing a book about that. I mean, there's a group of people that walk in, I'm an older guy and I look at the front of the package, but then there's the next generation. They look at the back of the package. And then there's the next generation. They don't care about it all. They go to their phones and they look at the social mission and what's going on online, right?
Because they don't trust what's on the back or the front of the package.
Wow, it's so interesting. So I would imagine when you're sort of vetting out your companies, you're sort of asking not only about the story, but like, what are you doing socially? What's your mission in the world and what's your story to get this product to where you want it to be to change the world? Is that what we're thinking at Navigator Sales?
Yeah, we have brands that are just doing phenomenal things along those lines. And I didn't want to call out any specific brands, but I will. But Earth Friendly Products, Ecos, wonderful story of an immigrant, father coming over from Greece, was, making green cleaning products before green was cool, before Earth Day even was invented. He was doing this and left the company to his daughter, and she's the CEO now. But they are water neutral. They are 100% climate positive. You're talking about a laundry detergent where water makes up, probably 70% of what's in that bottle. And to actually be able to contribute positively to the environment, that's an amazing story. And they're doing what they say that they're planning on doing.
Yeah, their factories have gotten from the government the highest level of non-emissions than any factory in this country. They got 4 factories in the United States. And that's shocking. We're trying to get that out to people all the time.
I love it, Alan. And that's, what you're talking about, being innovative, being something that's different that people have never seen before. And let me ask you this question, because do you oftentimes get someone that comes in with their product and they have no social mission at all? They haven't even thought about it. And then how do you sort of unpack that for them to help them understand that they need a story and something also that resonates for the buyers?
Oh, it's simple. You come in and we say, all right, here's the game. Baby boomers are not the number one buying group in the country anymore. It's millennials. They passed us a few years ago. Millennials care about these things. All right. If you don't have that in your game plan, you're already losing. Okay. Because Gen Zers are going to find out everything about you online. So you're walking in to lose. So let's revamp this and figure out a better way of coming to market.
Alan, I love it. I interview so many CEOs and founders throughout the world, and so many, people reach out to me to come on the show. And I have to tell you, I love your straightforward approach, Alan. It's so refreshing. I mean, your clients must really love that, because you've got all this experience and you're able to lay it out so fast, simple, and easy for them in a way that's meaningful, that they understand without all the gobbledygook and all the double speak and double talk. I mean, this is why Navigator Sales and Marketing is really, building this incredible company because, you don't mince your words. You go right for it. You tell them what's going on. And I think they really appreciate that because we know time is money. So who has time to go through all these various iterations of stories and basically, not giving the straight shot to your clients. Now, Subriana, let's talk about sort of this co-managing partner program you've got going on with Alan, because you each have your various expertises right now. I want to take this conversation and move it toward entrepreneurship a little bit. When you guys experience a pothole in the road, and we all do as entrepreneurs, or a wall that's hard to knock down or get around, how do you and Alan talk that through between yourselves so that you can get through the potholes in the road that all entrepreneurs ultimately have in their businesses?
Well, I mean, it's great to have a partner that you can bounce things off of. I think that is very strong, whether it's, husband, wife, or just business partner or whatever it is. It's strong. It's great to have that because there will be ups and downs. And sometimes when I'm up, he's down, or when he's down, I'm up. And so you're able to kind of balance each other out that way. But I think knowing your strengths and your focus in the company, you get to, come in from two different perspectives, and 1 + 1 can equal 3.
Yeah, that makes all the sense in the world. It's great. And of course, when we talk about great companies, we're always talking about the team. And in your particular case, you and Alan make a great team as well as the rest of your staff. Now, Alan, let's talk about this online sales. Is there any company that you work with that just comes in, they say, listen, Alan, we don't even want to be on the shelves. We want to be online. That's our entire business model. And if that's the case, do you take those customers, do you take those clients, or do you sort of move them toward also being on the shelves as well?
Well, they have a vision. And we want to respect that. And we have a couple of online stores that we can refer them to. And we will definitely do that. Because getting on shelf takes so much out of you. You got to be committed to it. So if you want to explore QVC or online or whatever it may be, go ahead and do that. And quite frankly, some companies have done well just doing that. This takes a lot. First of all, on shelf takes a lot of money. Okay. It takes a lot of time and a lot of effort, and there's a lot of things you got to do. And you got to watch every penny to make a margin. So I get it. It's quick, fast, and in a hurry doing the online and the QVC. I understand.
Yeah. And it's profitable, right? So it could be driving your profit so that in the future you can go online. But what I always tell brands is look at your data from online, because you can actually use that when you're ready to go into a grocery store, to be able to go into a buyer here in Southern Cal and say, hey, my number 2 market for online sales is Los Angeles, right? Or, data like that. My ranking 1 through 4 is this because of what I do on Amazon. That's information that's important to a buyer.
And buyers are asking, you have 250,000 followers. Oh, we're going to take a look at you.
Right.
Yeah.
I love it. This reminds me of Shark Tank a little bit, this conversation. I've interviewed some people that have been on Shark Tank. Of course, some of the people I've interviewed have been invited to Shark Tank. And when they bring a retail product in, the sharks are always talking about that shelf space and how to get it on the shelf space and the cost of the space and how to monetize the various, costs of getting on those shelves. And I think what I'm hearing, Subriana, from you and Alan is you're like bigger than the Shark Tank. I'm going to call you the whale tank, because you have like this expertise in the food industry where the sharks just kind of nibble at it. You guys are focused in at Navigator Sales and Marketing, and I love it so much. And we always talk on the show that experts win and generalists lose. And you guys have this complete expertise on representing these companies in this specific space that's so important. And the way you look at things are very unique. Listen, I know you've only cut out a certain amount of time today, and I want to thank you for coming on the show. Subriana and Alan, you've been remarkable. But first, of course, Subriana, I wanted to thank you for coming on the show, giving some insight onto what you're able to do. Of course, discussing what Navigator Sales and Marketing is all about in the pre-calls that we've had and the pre-emails that we've had. You're very responsive, and I can see why you've been able to build this business to the heights that you've been able to, because you really get back to people fast and you ask great questions and you're all over it and right on it. So Subriana, first of all, to you, thank you so much for coming on the .com Magazine Entrepreneur Spotlight Series.
Thank you.
And of course, Alan, what can I say? I mean, the straight talking managing partner of Navigator Sales and Marketing. When someone needs the straight shot, when they need the straight talk, when they need to have it broken down in a simple way that they get, taking all this complex information that you have in your brain, Alan, all the years of experience that you have in this space, but cutting through it so an entrepreneur can quickly and easily understand it. That's a real art form. And I wanted to thank you, Alan, also for coming on the show today. It's been an absolute delight and a pleasure.
Well, sir, thank you for having us. We really appreciate it.
A lot of fun. We appreciate it.